Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about what is happening in Edo State, security situation, the Edo State approach. How can we really curb all this? Is becoming disturbing, but this is not the first time it's happening. Yeah, it's not the first time, but it's like it's just going out of control. What do you think Edo State government and Edo State citizens should do about it to prevent youths at the throat of each other due to rivalry in sects? With me here in the studio, I have a vibrant youths. But one said, Wilson, are you sure I'm a youth? Of course, of course, we are all youths, okay? Let me start my introduction by introducing the president of African Youth, and of course, he is a doctor, PhD. Let me just welcome Carl Oshodi. Carl, welcome to TMI Sunday's edition. All right. So very close to Carl, you get to hear put food on the table. You will not see all these things happening in our streets. Join me to welcome Osahan Okoro Obaraye. Welcome.
Thank you so much, brother.
All right, you get to hear the law, the barrister. He's a legal practitioner and, of course, a one-time governorship candidate in the Edo State election. Join me to welcome Barrister Cosmos Erabo. Barrister, welcome to TMI.
Thank you so much. Well done, viewers.
All right. Carl, is disturbing. People have been talking about it, while others are like saying, what in the world is happening? Not again. But lo and behold, it's happening again. Killings in some parts of Benin City due to rivalry in ideology, rivalry in group, rivalry in sect. What do you feel about this?
It's rather very unfortunate. Really unfortunate because this is not the time to begin to cast blame on the government. We should now begin to go into the family setting, the home.
The home?
Yeah, the home. Said train up the child in the way he should grow. And when they grow, the values you put in them actually reflect on their character. And that is what is going on now. Before now, this is not the first time we have seen youths, young people, who rather than sit down to develop ideas, strategy on how to engage the government, engage themselves in meaningful venture, particularly in job creation and also entrepreneurship, have been busy killing themselves. Because today, maybe perhaps a mindset issue. I do not see the other man or the other woman as a rival. I see them as partners in progress. I see them as people who should develop a sustainable means of livelihood together. Because we have seen even in this set that you see today, some will call themselves a year this. At the end of the day, when they get to a certain level in life, they become colleagues in the office. They become partners in business. And when they reflect back and see those or see the harm that they have done in terms of those who would have helped them to also jumpstart their businesses, jumpstart their life, and make life meaningful for them, they regret. So we are also calling on parents to talk to their children and to also inculcate certain level of discipline, while also complementing the effort of government to ensure that the security of the states, the security of society, neighborhood security is not just only the responsibility of government alone. Parents also have a shared responsibility to support the government.
So you're talking about the family values right
family
now.
Values.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Carl. Obaraye, I know this is the first time you're seeing or hearing things happening in the streets of Benin City. How come it's still reoccurring?
Thank you so much, my brother. I think at this juncture, the truth must be told. My heart bleeds. The reason is because as I was going home yesterday about navigating Toba Street, I had a gunshot, and I parked so that for the avoidance of stray bullet and hit somewhere. But to my greatest surprise, I started people shouting that a guy just be killed, the guy that sells cloth at Santana Market, because I live off that street, has been shot. This is somebody that would have been likely a governor tomorrow. You can't really tell about his future. Was killed. Maybe if they tell you what happened, is that maybe I sit down and I mash my leg, or my girlfriend, I go outside, I see somebody, irrelevant things, and it has gone wide. And I think The reason why this is the worst of all that has happened, has not been like this before. Yeah, the reason why this one is worse off is I'm sure, because the fallout of the NSAS. Okay? Because secondly, we don't also have police again tackling this issue. Thirdly, we have excess ammunition where they are not supposed to be. Then, fourthly, I think we also don't have people that have been arrested for same crime before, kept somewhere before, they're released before, they are now out for vengeance. If you watch we followed up as analysis, where we followed up and we heard one of them shouting, one of them that live around secondary, and when they released him, was shouting, I will tell them, I don't come back. You can remember, you saw that video. He released around secondary, they will listen at me, I don't come back. And the next video he did was he was washing his ammunition that he kept somewhere. So it goes to tell you that these people were kept before, we had peace. And now they'll be released and they are unleashing on the society. And the police on the other hand too are like, since you can say we're not good, make una police yourself. So that is, so now you can see people now shouting, police come, police come. It's better for you to collect our 20 naira, 50 naira, 200 naira. We have little peace. Than now we have our 20 or 50 naira. There is no peace. So to me, I will toe the line of my classmate, my brother, Dr. Carr, about the family values. Okay. I'm a product of family value. Okay. My mom, a teacher. As let's say 8-10 years ago, still came to spank me if I go to do something. That is why I'm scared now. And my heart is always telling me, my mom is watching. If I want to beat an elder, not bowing down.
Okay, I'll come back to your barrier. Now, he raised so many points, and of course, some of the points coincided also with the points raised by Carl, family values. But he mentioned something, liberations of some persons that ought to be in prison. Is that why we are having this situation right now in Benin City?
My brother, as a matter of fact, I will say my younger brother here, Barai, has said all that is needed to have been said. By also joining with what my brother said. The truth is, you cannot eat your cake and have it back. Any act that is found in the criminal code is crime. Unfortunately, there are certain things we do, even when our parents, like he said, know that it is crime, they close their eyes to it. You see, you cannot, I always say it, legalize illegality to justify illegality. When I was in university, I would have joined a secret society, but when I remembered the place I'm coming from, I stayed back. Unfortunately, I remember a friend of mine who was boastful. He said he was in their house, there was what we call micro-savings, small, they were just chanting songs of his court. He said before he knew it, his father came out with a full regalia of that same court. He never knew the father was a court member, or he's a court member was, let me say a court, no. And the father never knew he was. When the father came out, his friend and his colleagues now lied down to salute, and the man greeted them, felicited with them. Say from that day he brought out his banner and put it in the sitting room. The father brought out his own. What does that mean? You are doing the right thing. Excuse me. The issue is, this so-called cultism, I have never, I'm yet to see one positive thing they get from it. When it was still within the university or high institutions, to an extent it was tenable. Now that it has left there to almost crannies, mechanics, the whole thing has gone where? To the other side, the police have done their best, arresting these criminals, removing them from the streets, keeping them somewhere. Because I remember when a friend of mine stopped a bus, about 4 boys were in the bus, they were going for revenge with guns and everything. It was televised. They took them back to, they were prosecuted and remanded. These people are back to the streets. Some, their colleagues or other people give information and they know. They are back to revenge. That's why you are saying what you are saying. And that aspect of it, like he said, is the police.
Okay.
Of course, it's the responsibility of police to arrest these people. But the police is saying that, yeah, you said we were collecting 2020 naira. We need money to buy fuel for our vehicles, because police vehicle run 24 hours. Money set will drop, night session will peak. We need money to buy tires. When engines get knocked, we need money to buy engines. We don't get this money, and we cannot use our mega salaries. So these little things we get, in as much as I don't applaud to it, we use it to do it.
All right.
You have given us names, you say you don't want us. When the money comes, we'll go.
Okay.
When the money is not around, don't expect us to use our salaries. So because they are also not in the streets, that will also help these people. They parade with guns and everything.
Okay, I will come back to you, Barrister. Now, it's like everything is falling on the shoulders of police being absent in, like, doing their job. Carl, do you share that notion or that view? Because the police are not doing their job right now. That's why these elements are having a free day.
Well, from a security perspective, you cannot exclude the police completely from this whole process. It is the responsibility of the police constitutionally to secure, protect lives and property. And also, it is the responsibility of the chief security officer of the states to also develop mechanism and strategy. Strategy in the sense that a realistic strategy before we have neighborhood watch, where the community will also need to secure their environment. Now, gone are those days where if you enter a street, if you are new in that street, they know you are a new person. And if you are a troublemaker in that street, they also identify. There are some streets in those days where the sons of Ojonways were actually the criminals in those streets. And it was also the streets that bundled them, handed them over to the law enforcement, which is the police. And the police today, also remanded them. The reason why the NSAS protest actually started in the first place was to actually discuss and make open the corruption, the in-depth corruption in the police service, as well as the maltreatment, or I would say the constitutional maltreatment of the police force. Because you cannot expect a police who is earning 18,000 naira to actually live to the expectation of what is required of a law enforcement. So the police, why this is done, the police should go back, or the government should look at, let me just say, the state government should look at discussing with the police and seeing how they can begin to develop strategies on how they can police the community. Otherwise, this thing will snowball into another thing. And we have had enough deaths so far.
All right. It's all about security situation in the states, Edo State approach. How can we really curb this? Because according to reports, it's getting more and more scary and disturbing. You mentioned the police and the government. Obaraye, take it up from there.
Yeah, I think we already have a base when we're discussing now. You cannot discuss about security of a place without not discussing about the police that are meant to police the place. Neither the government that collects huge sum of money in trying to also police the place. So two of them cannot be discharged and acquitted freely from this, what is going on now. First of all, I think, so we can also nip it, we've quarreled with the home, a product of when we wanted to become a remembered home. Same when we wanted to become a remembered home. So if we also quarrel about the home, we should also now start thinking, we have a government that its primary duty, constitutional, that is to protect lives and property. So that is to say, if we are also going to quarrel with the government, police, we should also quarrel with the government, who, with that said, take our mandate, be our security officer, with our taxpayers' money collect. So if the government is still quiet at this point, my heart bleeds, because I think I've been in this town for about 4 decades. I've never heard, but you have over 25 dead within a week. So it goes to show if we were fighting war, we should know. This one is on a daily basis. It's either you hear Sapia Road, you hear Biko Junction, you hear Ire Street, you hear Siloko Road, daily. They start from 4, now they are no longer scared. You just see them, so 2 TV bus, they don't even move like that. They don't want policing the way. The boys now, they want policing people. You see people, when you respect them about good money, where they pass, in looking for those they want to kill. They don't arrest, they kill. So I think what the government needs to do is to come out. Sincerity of purpose, come out. To say this will happen when this happens. Are you getting it now? So we can also shy away or run away from community policing. I've said that times with that number here. The place I live at, Osawe Street 80. One way in, one way out. If we sit like this now, discussing, if a car passes, you hear somebody telling you, this one are you the first? I will say no. You know that this person is strange in this place. Because we already know the cars that belongs to the neighbors and everybody around. So once the car park and we see that the 4 or 5 boys are in, we see everybody now relaxing to say, Mona check who be this. If we were policing ourselves, that's what we do. It's now also legalized. It goes to tell you, it's going to be hard for somebody to come, do everything and leave almost immediately. At least there will be a reaction, a counter reaction of what the person. So the government will also sit down with sincerity of purpose. When it comes to security, you don't politicize it. You must be sincere about it, because what is happening now does not have a party logo on it. Security does not have with your master's identity. No. It's for everybody, the responsibility for everybody. When they finished at September Market yesterday, they were driving back, when it was hold up at this one junction or the old junction. The hold up, they were scared, thinking people were pursuing them. They came out and started shooting. And at that point, everybody belongs there. The Muslims are there, and everybody there. They left their car, rolling left and right, with injury now. So it goes to tell you, it does not concern one individual again. Because you don't also know the next person that is going to go down to there.
Okay.
So, sincerity of purpose on the side of government in doing community policing, because now the people that the federal government gave to us to police us have said, until you go to CNN and apologize, until you build on the police station, equip them again, until you do this, we are not coming out. And they are being paid.
We'll get to that.
They are being paid.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. But people like saying that it's like the government of the day is a little bit quiet on this. How do you view that?
With due respect, I want to distance a little from my brother with regards to that. If you say the government of the day, maybe we'll narrow it down to Edo State governor. That's Edo State where the whole thing is happening. I don't know what else we expect him to do. To come and paint the streets with his blood, for us to know he's doing something. Of recent, they just graduated some groups of constables
Yes.
for community policing. That he could handle. Nigeria Police is not directly under his control. It's Inspector General of Police and the federal government. He can only appeal to them. He cannot give them instructions. Because if he gives instructions, they have the right to obey and not obey, even when he's a chief security officer of the state. We have cases of that already. Moreover, what he's expected to do as a governor, I think he has done so. I'm not saying more cannot be done. He has encouraged them. He has gone to see them in their stations. He has promised to rebuild the bonds, all to boost their morale, so that they can come to the street, so that there will be, security. He has done all that. He has even given them some little statements. I think the man has done enough with regards to that. All we need to do is talk to the federal government, the apostles of change, to actually bring forth the desired change which they promise the people. So that the state, the police, which is directly under them, will get what they need to work. The police leave the house, the policemen, they leave the house in the morning, the houses in the morning, and they go to the offices to work, ready to work as much as I know. But do you expect them to work with their hands, carry on service rifles, no vehicle to patrol. Of course, we know they cannot do that. They are not saying they are no longer ready to work. And how much is the stipends they give them? You might be shocked, like I was telling them, that how much the federal government claims to pay an inmate for feeding a day is about 18,000 naira. An inmate for feed a day. Times the number of inmates we have in federal prisons. And then you not tell me where that money is going to.
Are you sure of that information? It is 1,000 naira per inmate, because I don't have that record.
Go and find out. I don't want to be quoted, but go and find out. Right. That was as much as I believe. Because what I'm even hearing, there is even more. So this is the kind of corruption we have in the society. It's just when someone will come and tell you that Yahoo is not a crime. And the mother will come and say, my son is a Yahoo boy, I'm proud of it. Yeah, they think Yahoo is only abroad. They are defrauding people's money everywhere, even locally and all that. So with all these things going on, what are you expecting? You say you cannot eat your cake and have it.
No, right.
It is the responsibility of police, actually, to curb crime. But how can police curb crime when the vehicles are not moving?
Okay.
The rifles are not there. The assailants, nothing to work with. They fear their vehicles. The tires, everything. The only time I went, myself and some people in this Ubowo, we had to write letters to some indigents, some people around, to assist, to buy tires and all that for them. We bought it and they were very happy. Their patrol started. At times we gather money, to assist them, to charter buses when their vehicles broke down. If you go to one mechanic shop, I will call his name, JB. You see three of their vehicles there. Engines knocked. They are gathering money to buy new engine. 200 or something, 300 or something thousand naira. This is what I expect us to come and talk about.
All right.
Not to come and begin to say this, they are not working, they are working. What can they work with? Distress call here, before you another distress call there, another distress call there. Do they fly? They cannot fly. Even their phone calls, their telephones, they buy their recharge cards. I've made some distress calls. They called me back with their phones. Did I give them money for recharge cards? I mean, let's call a spade here.
All right. Take a look at the approach right now. What do you think we should do? Because it's becoming overwhelming. What should be done?
I would say we need a holistic review of the entire security architecture. What the nation needs right now is a comprehensive security infrastructure in place, which will include the security finance infrastructure, making sure that the salaries of these security personnel and law enforcement are well catered for. Their vehicles are well catered for. Where we can now also look at how do we also get the government, of the primary focus states to be operation, that is in core activities of their responsibility. Now, there is a security vote, that is money is earmarked, there's a budget earmarked for security votes. And the state government can also utilize it. The community policing marshal that has just been trained, infrastructures can also be equipped with modern infrastructure to ensure that crimes are being curbed. The communities in question should also, maybe like community leaders, influencers and those people should be involved. This is a stakeholder engagement. We will bring in everybody. We cannot just blame the police, we cannot blame the government, we cannot even blame the parents all together. We are all blamed, all of us. So we have a responsibility to come in now and begin to provide solutions. Solutions that are workable, solutions that are scalable, solutions that can be fed by everybody as positive in nature. Not a solution that will not begin to cast aspersion and begin to do what we call profiling, where this is a male, where this is a female, where this is PDP, where this is APC. Everybody, security is the responsibility of both government, the law enforcement, the stakeholder, which is leaders in the community, me and you. We are all involved. So if we come together and talk about this, provide solutions for this, we can have a headway. Don't also forget, the Constitution can also be another pointer. One, how do I say the Constitution? You can see that the lawmakers are also responsible in ensuring that they review some of the security architecture principles and approaches or mechanisms in the country.
Okay.
When they also look at that in lawmaking, they can see that policing the community will be the shared responsibility of everybody.
Thank you so much, Carl. Obari, I want you to take a look at it from one angle. He talked about constitution, talked about community policing. Thank God for the constables have been, graduated. They want to start doing their job. I believe that this group, they have leaders. Have they gone beyond their leaders?
Yeah, they had leaders when it was still in school. The reason why some of us are privileged to information like this is that when it was worse off, it will the likes of us came out to form what we call ACON, a group against courtesan. So in dealing with them before, when we were in school, what we do is that when it goes out of hand like this, you quickly look for their leaders and arrest them quickly and make sure you force them to quickly call their, yes. But in Benin, as I speak today, there's nobody that can tell you is their leader. If the reason is because their leader might be educated, but the person who they call maybe the armory, person that keeps their gun or zonal head, and not educated. Maybe one conductor guy that is so strong and powerful after dealing with about 6 men, from that reason they just say, okay, this is not your new position. So think of it when somebody that does not even know what it takes, most of them fight here have not seen the constitution. The constitution. These groups have constitution. There are do's, there are those things they do. They have your money they pay to keep it just like a meeting. 80% of the people you see today don't even know what they belong to. Some will tell you they are blackers, or that will tell you are blackers, you are MBN. They will differentiate it. And that will tell you I'm you don't think you are not. So it got to tell you now that it has been polarized above the leadership structure. That if the leader today call, some will not listen. That's because if you also see what is happening, the leadership of these people, all of them sit down in this house and well and eat together. The people, I told you then, you started it off when I was speaking about the SARS protest. I said SARS protest at Tugbowo was peaceful. People were eating, DJ, drinking, it was like party. People would go to home in the evening, the next day morning they are back. The day it entered upper, I told you that they said, no, that's it. The day it entered, that was the day Oko was broken. That was the day Sapele prison was broken. That was the day the police station that was set ablaze. 80% of them are in an environment.
So what you're saying, no leadership?
No, I didn't say no leadership. I said yes, leadership.
But they don't listen to their leaders.
No, they no longer, because the people that does the leaders of this party, of this society group, cannot tell you to go and kill. That's a cake. We've gone past that. What now happens is, I was sitting there, you will not believe that Dr. Carr was just looking at me. I didn't know why he was looking at me. In the evening, they started looking for Dr. Carr. To say, Dr. Carr, they saw him, he wore one beret that looks like their own. Flimsy excuses. And the next thing you hear, 23 people dead. For somebody wearing a beret that looks like your own. Or your girlfriend. Yeah, I saw in my picture, you were admiring my girlfriend. You say, so there's leadership on issues that borders to the beret that is new of your color, or looking at your girlfriend. So it goes to show that leadership in that circle has failed. Just the way leadership in Nigeria has failed.
Well, people may have a different view of leadership in Nigeria.
With this security situation, my brother, no, with this security situation, we are happy that it has not gotten to somebody close to you. So anybody that is crying now, you cannot expect that person to tell you that the leadership in Nigeria has not failed. You cannot tell the father who lost the child that day that I watched it on that TV where people gave us about 4 or 5 people on the street. You cannot tell the family of those people now that the leadership of this country
All right, thank you. Security situation, Edo State approach. Barrister Cosmos Erobo, you're going to have the last say on this matter for this particular segment. What do you think we should do?
The first thing is, like he said, sincerity of purpose on the side of government. When I say government, since it's a security issue, federal government. If federal government decides to stop this thing today, it will stop. Equipping the police, and let the police coming out. That is their responsibility. The DSS is there, and all that. They will fish them out. But unfortunately, politicians are not like that because they work for most of the politicians. I remember some years ago, a colleague of mine represented when Arasa became head of, IG. The first thing is he pounced on these court people, starting from the state Edo. 2 members of them who were executive directors in the then Shumale administration were arrested. Today, what happened? There were over 100 count charges. When they arraigned them here, my brother, you'd be surprised that less than 2 count charges. All they left, and they were reabsorbed into the system. What's the meaning of that? You have done well. You understand? So the government have a role to play. The family setting has a role to play by grooming the younger ones. Then, unfortunately, the groups have leaders. I would not say they don't have leaders. And you say, out of nothing, nothing comes out. You don't put anything on something and nothing expect it to stand. A leader of such a group is an irresponsible person. So, an irresponsible person does not bring out anything responsible. And the act we are saying is an irresponsible act. How could you just kill a man for nothing's sake, you know? I remember there was a time, these same court people, they said they were doing better, so moved from Ring Road to Bowo area, shooting on the streets. Police did not come up because the police had information, orders not to. They felt bad. Part of leadership, the government. So if the government wants it to stop, it will stop because the responsibility of government to stop it.
All right, thank you.
They have failed in that area.
Thank you. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I know we can go on and on to talk about this, but we have to pause now because I have other things to really talk about. Well, you've heard them. There's a saying, there's an adage about okra cannot be taller than the owners. You have to like bend it and get or whatever you want to get from the okra plant. Leadership of this group, I believe that you're listening, you're watching. Your boys, have they gone beyond you? Your girls, have they gone beyond you? What about the government? What about the police? What about the family circle? People are dying. Like what about I said, it hasn't gotten to you, you won't know the impact. It will not pinch you the way it pinches them. Please, Edo State is known for peace. Let peace reign. Forget about what happened in the past, okay? Call your boys together. Governor, I know you're doing, but you have to do some more because it's becoming a little bit out of, not a little bit out, it's going out of control. What in the world is happening? Please, 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 everyone should do everything to make sure that peace reigns. Gentlemen, I appreciate a wonderful analysis once more. Thank you so much for today's show.
Thank you so much.
It's time for us to take a look at another topic, set an agenda for the governor. Yeah, second term. What should he focus on? We'll be right back after this break.